Okay, we're going to talk about X and Y intercepts of graphs. In part A, a car starts a journey with a full tank of gas. The equation y equals 16 minus 0.05x relates the number of gallons of gas y left in the tank to the number of miles the car has traveled x. So if you look at the graph going across the x-axis, this is the travel distance of the car. And then if you look at the y-axis, this is the gas remaining. So you can see that up here, we're starting with 16 gallons of gas, and as we travel, the gas is going down, what's left in the tank. What are the x and y intercepts of the graph of this equation, and what do they represent about the situation? Okay, so our x-intercept is where we cross the x-axis, which is over there. So the x-intercept is 320. What does that mean? That means that after 320 miles, there is no gas left in the tank. Or in other words, you can drive 320 miles before running out of gas. Okay, the y-intercept is where your line crosses the y-axis, which is up here at 16. So the y-intercept is 16, and what does that mean? Well, your y is representing gas remaining in the tank, so when the trip starts, before you have traveled along the x-axis and all, you have 16 gallons of gas in the tank. So this means, that the car has 16 gallons of gas when it starts the trip. That's what the y-intercept represents there. Okay, so part B, we're going to find the x and y intercepts of the graph of y equals the absolute value of x minus 3. Now, they're not giving us a graph to just see where is it across the x and y axis. So how do we find x and y intercepts algebraically? Well, we find them by plugging in zeros. To find the x-intercept, we're going to plug in a 0 for the y. So 0 equals the absolute value of x minus 3. Let's solve for that x. We can add 3 to both sides. So we have 3 is equal to the absolute value of x. Well, let's think about that. What could x be where we take the absolute value and you get back a positive 3? Well, x could be a 3 because the absolute value of 3 is 3. X could also be a negative 3 because this absolute value turns this number in here positive. So if we put a negative 3 in, took the absolute value of it, we would get that positive 3. So our x-intercepts are 3 and negative 3. If we were to graph the function, that's where the graph would cross the x-axis. All right, y-intercept, to find that one without a graph, we plug in a 0 for the x and solve for y. So y equals the absolute value of 0 minus 3. Now this one doesn't involve much solving because the y is already alone over here. So we're just going to simplify the right side. Well, the absolute value of 0 is 0. Now we can do 0 minus 3, and the y-intercept is a negative 3. If we were to graph this, it would cross the y-axis at negative 3.